the dead. 2 weeks without a One Piece chapter. And after this one, I will return to the depths of the earth once more. For April is the month with no or very minimal One Piece. Ooh! Okay, hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking back again. This will be One Piece chapter 1047 review titled The Skies Above the Capital. Why, that's just a capital idea. We'll just take Onigashima and place it above the capital so it cannot fall on top of the capital. Brilliant! Hey, here's an idea. Maybe you can make use of the giant mountain that's behind the flower capital, Fujiyama, that's just been sitting there the entire time. Maybe you could just like land Onigashima on top of that, right? So then it won't be a mountain, it won't be a skull, it won't be even a muffin, it'll be like an ice cream cone because you'll have this really thin like mountain and then like this giant skull dome thing on top of it. It'll be perfect. Okay, so we got a cover spread. Actually, didn't we get a cover spread last time, like a color page that Oda drew? So we got 2 in a row, which is cool. So we just have the Straw Hats hanging out on a beach. Robin is in the foreground, which, you know, Oda knows where his priorities are. She's reading a book. Nami's in the background. Luffy's there. Jinbei's taking a siesta on the beach. It seems like a fun time. Also, Momonosuke's there. I wonder if he's going to be relevant in this chapter at all. I don't know. So we continue where we left off with, oh man, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, Luffy grabbed a lightning bolt. Holy crap. So yeah, Luffy grabbed a lightning bolt, but more of a pressing concern than that is of whether or not Eneru is back, is Yamato begins to notice that the island is now falling. Like, it's no longer just like, oh, okay, this might happen in the next few minutes. No, this is happening now. You know, Onigashima's beginning to teeter, and it might even totter if they don't do something about it, okay? So it's beginning to sway back and forth, and Yamato says to Momonosuke, like, Momonosuke, we're out of time. You need to make some flame clouds in order to support the island, or we're all going to die. I mean, I might not die because I'm Yamato and I can turn into a mythical wolf, but everybody else could very well die. Also, I guess you would not die because you're a dragon. Also, I guess Luffy and Kaido would survive. Everybody except the most important people in this arc are gonna die. And Momonosuke, what about Random Samurai Bill? Random Samurai Bill has a brother, Random Samurai Jack, not the famous Samurai Jack. They get confused for each other all the time. But you need to make the flame clouds, because up until now, Momonosuke basically just used the cheat code. You know, you ever play a game and it's like the game wants you to like do this in a specific way, as like you have to grind for 45 hours in order to get this item or beat this enemy, but you figure out some way to break the system. That's essentially what Momo did. He's like, okay, I can't make my own flame clouds, or it's really difficult to make my own flame clouds, so I'm just going to make a little bit and then grab onto Kaido's and then use his and tow them away. But now his flame clouds are beginning to dissipate, so Yamato's like, there's no more cheat codes, there's no other way to hack the game or Game Genie or whatever. You need to actually do this! And Momonosuke's like, I'm sorry, I don't know how. Okay, so he's like trying to like poof the flame clouds into existence. He's giving it his all, but he just can't, you know? He's like, I just had my devil fruit a little while ago. Don't they make a manual for these things? Can I call devil fruit tech support, please? Hold on a second, Yamato. Just like, all right, hold on a second. Who would be devil fruit tech support? It would be Vegapunk, right? Vegapunk. He's like, hello, you've reached the offices of Rick Vegapunk. How may I direct your call today? He's like, yeah, hi. So we're a little bit of an issue here. I ate a devil fruit and I don't know how it works and everybody's gonna die. Okay, all right, sir, it's okay. I can help you with that. Just stay on the line. Yamato and Momonosuke are just there staring at each other. He's like, they're on hold on. Your call is very important to us. Thank you for calling the Vegapunk Institute. We're making your tomorrow more lasery and full of robots. Hello, how you doing? I'm Vegapunk. Okay. Doc, listen, I ate this fruit. It's a dragon fruit. I'm trying to make flame clouds. How do I do it? And he's like, all right, sir, it's okay. Let me just walk you through some troubleshooting. You know, have you turned it on and off again? You know, honestly, I don't know, but like, yeah. Oh wait, I have an idea. Momonosuke, have you legitimately tried to do this? This might actually work, okay? If I had the dragon fruit and I didn't know how to make flame clouds appear, this is what I would do, okay?
me, ha, me, ha! You don't know it won't work until you try it, right? Okay. But now, more on the emotional side of things, we actually have a flashback. As Momonosuke begins to panic, he begins to cry. Because he's like, oh no, I can't do it! Oh my god, mother, what do I do? Alright, so we have a flashback to right before Momonosuke, Kinemon, Kanjuro, and Raizo got sent into the future by Toki. Alright, now here's the thing you gotta keep in mind. We've seen this flashback before, so Oda is not giving us any new information here, like something else crazy happened right before they went into the future or anything like that. But I do love that he's showing this, because up until now, it was always just explained away, like, oh yeah, so the castle's burning down, Lady Toki used her powers to send Momo into the future, and then, you know, Hiyori stayed behind with Kawamatsu, and then Toki went to town, said the prophecy, and then she died. But I like that we've never actually seen the moment from, like, Momonosuke's perspective. That's what Oda does. He'll go back and show these different scenes, I mean, the same scene from different perspectives. And you gotta remember, like, so this is literally Toki with her 2 children. Momonosuke was 8 years old, Hiyori was 6 at the time, basically telling them, okay, your father is dead, and I am going to stay and die with him. You kids have to go with the scabbards. Hiyori, you have to go with Kawamatsu, and Momo, I'm sending you 20 years into the future to save the nation, okay? So obviously that's not going to be a situation where Momonosuke and Hiyori are just going to be like, yes, mother, we will obey you. You know, it's like, no, that, you know, Momonosuke begins to cry. He's 8 years old, and he's like, Mom, what? I can't do that. What? I can't go into the future without you. Dad's dead. What? Well, you're going to die too? Why do you have to die? Can't you come with me? And so Momonosuke is like, you know, can't you just come into the future with me? And Kinemon actually speaks up. Remember, the setting here is they're in a burning castle in their room. Toki, Hiyori, you know, Momonosuke's there, and then it's Kinemon, Raizo, Kawamatsu, and Kanjuro are all there as well, okay? So Kinemon speaks up, and he's just like, you know, my lord, Momonosuke, you know, beg my pardon, but, you know, when someone has dedicated themselves to something as serious as life or death, you know, you should not question them. Basically, it's Kinemon saying, like, your mother has dedicated herself to dying here alongside her husband, Lord Odin. You should not question that. You should not be like, Mom, come with me to the future, please. You don't have to die here, right? It's like, that's unbecoming of a samurai. That's unbecoming of a man. And Momonosuke has the response that's, you know, he's just like, well, screw you, Kinemon. I'm not a man. I'm a child, you know? It's like, I'm 8 years old here. I want my mom. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's when Kinemon actually, he maintains his composure through all this, you know, considering how everything's happening, you know. They just escaped, you know, Odin's execution not too long ago. He says, you know, with all due respect, Lord Momonosuke, with Lord Odin gone, you are now the sole heir. You know, well, not the sole heir, I mean, Hiyori's also there, but, you know, ostensibly it's supposed to be a man that's supposed to be the next, you know, the heir, the next shogun or daimyo. So it's like, okay, you are now our leader. We are here to obey you. And Kinemon goes on to say, you know, if I could speak, I would love for you to give me another chance to rectify this situation. Okay, so we have to go to the future to make things right, and I promise you, Lord Momonosuke, I promise you that if we go into the future, we will fight for you. Right, Raizo? Raizo's like, yes! It's like, okay, Kawamatsu, you're gonna you know, take care of Hiyori. Absolutely, I will. All right, Kanjuro, you're going to fight alongside me as a comrade, right? Yes, Kinemon. Sorry, there's a lot of smoke in this castle. I got a little bit of a cough. Yes, I understand. You have a serious problem with that. It's okay. All right, Momonosuke, please, let's go to the future, all right? So, and also I love, like, the way, like, Momonosuke is crying, but there's also, like, snot coming out of his nose, and it's just depicted in a way of, like, the absolute terror and fear that Momonosuke is feeling, but also that whole idea of, like, samurai culture in Wano is he has to live up to that, okay? And he has to live up to this monumental mountain of an image that is his father, okay? Your father is Kozuki Odin, all right? There's people that, like, expect things of you right away. So after sitting there and after, you know, he's crying, he's like wiping his face, there's like snot everywhere, and he's like, okay, mother, I will be off now. Let's go to the future, everybody. It should be fun. Like that samurai that got sent into the future a few years ago. What was his name? Jack. That's fine. We can do that. And so that's when Toki sends them to the future. But I like that Oda showed that flashback, okay? Because not only did it showcase, Momonosuke's emotions on all this, but also it showcased... Oh, by the way, we see Toki there beginning to weep, because Toki was not happy about this situation, okay? She realized right there that the chances are excellent she's not going to see her children again, all right? And we have a scene where we transition back to the future now, where we have Momonosuke in the sky, and he's still crying, but he has a little bit more of a determined expression on his face, because he's remembering his mother, he's remembering Toki, and he says, if I failed here, and if I let everybody die, I would never be able to face my mother again, okay? Is that setting up for Toki still being alive? Well, if I had to guess, I would say Toki used the time fruit today. She went to the future before she died. She's gonna meet Momonosuke and Hiyori about 5 minutes before she properly kicks the bucket. This has been Tekking101 Musical Theater. I hope you have a great night. Okay, so, yeah, now... we don't really get to see Momonosuke, creating the flame clouds like he remembers his mother, and he's determined, and he's like, Kamehameha! And then the flame clouds come out or anything. We don't see that, but he is, newly determined here. He remembers what he's fighting for and everything, and why he cannot fail. So, with that being said, we now cut over back to Kaido versus Luffy. Lightning bolt javelin throw in process. Okay, progress, I guess. Process, progress, same word. He picks up the giant lightning bolt, throws it at Kaido. It's called Gumu Gumu no Thunderbolt! So, you know what, Luffy, at this point, just take Pokemon names for it, right? Pikachu gets up, he's like, what the... You're stealing my thunder. You're stealing my moves. Okay, whatever. If I see you using Volt Tackle, Luffy, Pokemon, we're gonna sue you. Okay. So he throws the lightning bolt at Kaido. Of course, the lightning bolt resembles, like, a cartoony lightning bolt, with, like, the jagged edges and stuff, like, it actually has edges to begin with. It's a lightning bolt. It's a solidified coalescence of plasma, but he's able to throw it like a physical spear or a javelin, right? Kaido dodges it, which... once again, should not really surprise anyone. I actually even read a few comments last week where, once you get beyond the epicness of Luffy grabbing a lightning bolt and, like, holding it over Kaido about to throw it at him, you start to realize, wait, Kaido can dodge that, or even if it hits him, would it even really do that much damage? You know what I mean? Like, One Piece characters on this level we're dealing with now, like, if Shanks got struck by lightning, would he really be any worse for wear? Big Mom, Rayleigh, Roger in his heyday, Whitebeard in his heyday. Shit, man, I'm pretty sure that's how, I don't have Whitebeard on this wall, but I'm pretty sure that's how Whitebeard, did his hair every month or so. It's like, mustache is getting a little bushy. Time for a haircut. He just walks out on the deck of the Moby Dick during a lightning storm, and the lightning just strikes, and, like, perfectly, like, that's how it's done. Pretty sure that's how they groom themselves, right? So Kaido just, like, sidesteps, quick time event, press X. He just dodges the lightning bolt, and then he proceeds to attack Luffy again, all right? And Luffy gets hit quite a bit in this chapter. I think Kaido gets hit a few times. We'll go through it. But he dodges that attack, and he, responds by smacking Luffy with the Kanabo. Luffy gets knocked back into the sky. There's another lightning bolt in the sky. Luffy grabs onto it, and sort of like he's doing a gymnastics routine. I don't even know how to properly, like, okay. Just imagine there's a lightning bolt right here, okay? So Luffy gets sent flying. He grabs the lightning bolt, and he's like, wow! And he just sends flying down. He, like, spins on the lightning bolt, and then, using the centrifugal force, fires back at Kaido, okay? Alright, so surely this is going to do something, right? As he is rocketing back toward Kaido, Kaido mentions, is like, devil fruits are not necessary when you conquer the sea. And then Luffy uses Gumu Gumu no Oof? Gumu Gumu no Oof. Okay, that's a weird name for an attack. No, he's about to, like, kick Kaido. It's probably going to be like a version of Gumu Gumu no Stamp, but Kaido, once again, he's able to dodge the attack and BAM! Slam the Kanabo right down on Luffy's face, okay? So that's a second attack that Luffy misses. It caves Luffy's face in, so his whole face is, like, scrunched up inside of his head, and he falls to the ground. We see, some blood and the Conqueror's Hockey lightning and everything there, and Kaido goes on to say, he's like, hey, Remember Roger? Look at him. He made the entire world bow before him, and he had no devil fruit. Alright, so I guess that is the first time in this story that it has been confirmed that, yes, Goldie Roger, king of the pirates, did not in fact have a devil fruit. That's one of those things that, like, we kind of came to that conclusion, like, hundreds and hundreds of chapters ago, but it is nice to get some confirmation, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Roger did not have a devil fruit. He's just the king. He's just awesome, right? Such hurdles can only be overcome with hockey! So, when Luffy gets hit for the first time, like when he uses Gomu Gomu no stamp and Kaido hits him, he falls to the ground turns rubbery into a trampoline, so he's just gonna bounce right back up. But Kaido actually uses that to his advantage, whereas, and this is crazy, because I thought, like, that's how Luffy was gonna win the fight. Luffy was gonna turn the whole area into a bounce house and trampolines. Kaido was gonna get knocked down, bounce back up, Luffy was gonna hit him, boing, bam, hit him again. No, it's Kaido that's actually taking advantage of that, okay? So Luffy's bouncing back up, and Kaido's like, he's preparing for that. He's like, he's gonna bounce back. I understand his, like, his shtick at this point. And so, bam! Dai Toku! Dun Thunder Bagara! Okay. So, time to pause for a moment here, alright? So this new technique he uses, there's one translation that's Death Destroyer Thunder Bagara, but it's Dai Toku Myo, okay? So, Kaido's, one of his titles, it's Kaido of the Beast, but another title he has is the Wisdom King. And we also hear that Luffy's Gear 4th and Gear 5th resemble the Wisdom King, okay? So, what exactly is or are the Wisdom Kings? I'm just gonna give you a very brief overview, okay? So, in Japanese, the term is Myo, okay? Myo. So whenever you hear that term Myo, it's referring to a Wisdom King. And those are 5, there's more than that, but we're keeping it simple right now. They're figures from Buddhism, and there's 5 of them, okay? 1 for each of the cardinal directions, and then 1 in the center. And I could go into a whole detail on, like, each and every one, and what they represent, and everything like that, but just understand basic, there's 5 Wisdom Kings, or 5 Myos in Buddhist teachings that are probably going to be referenced by Oda here, and many of them have already been referenced, okay? So Dai Toku is one of them here. He is the guardian Myo of the West, and that earlier technique that Kaido used, Gundari Meteor Shower, Gundari is another Myo. And all of the Myos have a very similar appearance. They're sort of like demonic figures that are always cloaked in fire, which can reference, like, why Luffy has that ribbon behind him in Gear 4th and Gear 5th. Also, Kaido can control the flame clouds, alright? So that's the reference to the Myo. There's these very intimidating figures, like, and they're super powerful, and they got swords, and some of them have multiple arms, and they're all cloaked in fire and have very intimidating expressions, like, you know, something like that. Also, you might reference from Bleach, Sajin Komomura's Bankai is Kokujo Tengen Myo. So it is a Wisdom King. That's the reference for Komomura's Bankai is Myo. It's also just a fun thing to say. Myo, okay? So yeah, that's just a little bit of a reference. I might go into more detail in a video later on, we'll see, but yeah. So, basically in this chapter, Kaido has figured out Luffy's tricks. Even though Luffy has the power of cartoons, and it's really goofy and silly, and it took Kaido off, you know, off kilter at first, it's like, hey, if I witness an attack over and over again, or if I see what you can do over and over again, you know, I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to expect what's going to happen next. When I knock you into the ground, I know you're going to turn the ground rubbery and you're going to bounce right back in my face. So that's when I hit you again with the giant 10-ton Kanabo, okay? So he hits him with the Death Destroyer, Daitoku, Thunder Bagara. Luffy gets knocked up into the sky. Little birdies appear around his head like, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. I don't really know. Okay, is his Devil Fruit actually summoning little birds to, like, cuckoo around him? Because that would be funny. He has a bird production ability, alright? While he's getting knocked up into the sky, he grabs Kaido and tries to lift him up too. So he's turning Kaido's chest into rubber, and he's trying to pull Kaido up into the sky too. However, when he does that, Kaido's like, well, you've given away your position. I know exactly where you are in the sky, because the clouds are kind of like obscuring him. It's like, I know exactly where you are. And I thought this was going to be the moment where Luffy was going to, like, oh, you think I was over there, but I actually bent my body, so I was actually over here. No, he doesn't do that. Kaido just turns into a dragon, fires a bunch of the devastating gusts, Getsuga Tenchos into the sky, and they do manage to slice up Luffy. They hit him head on, and he loses a lot of blood from that, okay? And so it's kind of like, oh shit, Luffy's back to losing, and once again, it's not an end-all be-all. Yeah, he went Gear 5th. Yeah, he awakened his Devil Fruit. Kaido still got some fight in him. Apparently not very much because the flame clouds are about to die out, but the overall idea is like Kaido's learning from Luffy's attacks. He's not going to keep falling for the same shit over and over and over again, right? So he's just like, all right, I know exactly where you are. I know your tricks. I'm going to attack you. And yeah, it's, for lack of a better term, it is working. So now we cut back over to the Flower Capital where the Fire Festival is wrapping up finally. So everybody is taking their lanterns, and in Tangled style, the movie with Rapunzel and the lanterns, remember that movie? That's what I always think of when I see the Flower Capital, okay? Everybody's lifting up their lanterns, and it's a happy occasion. They're like, up, up, and away to the spirits of the dead. But it's also really somber, because it's like, haha, I hope I'm alive this time next year so I can enjoy this festival again, you know, because it's like, now, for as long as because they have no idea what's going on right now. They have no idea that Onigashima is right over their heads, basically, and there's this huge battle going on right now. You think they would, even though like regular humans, you think they would feel the reverberations of the shockwaves or the haki or something, right? Because normal people are actually more susceptible to Conqueror's haki because they don't have any haki to protect themselves or anything. So it's like all these bursts of Conqueror's haki happening up there. You think one of them would be like, would notice, right? At least Tenguyama or somebody would notice. But anyway, so they all let their lanterns go into the sky, and Otoko is there with Tenguyama, and they're playing a tune, and they're looking up, and everyone's happy, and it's like, oh, this is great. This was an awesome festival. Oda, I want you to go back, and I want you to do the entire scene of Onigashima, the whole little battle part, except do it from the Flower Capital's perspective, where like everybody's just having a fun time and just like the battle's going on in the background, right? So Otoko is like, oh, please reach Daddy, please reach, you know, Lord Yasu, who died, who got killed by Orochi and everything like that, right? So, you know, the lanterns are all going up into the sky, but Onigashima is still looming there in the clouds. They still haven't really made it out yet, okay? And it's very close to sunrise, too, at this point, okay? So it's very early in the morning. So now we cut back to Luffy and Kaido. After getting sliced up by the devastating gust, Kaido decides to double down, and he uses his Boro Breath. Hits Luffy dead on again, same as last time. Luffy gets burnt black like ash or whatever, and he's just like, you know, the smoke is coming out of his mouth, and he's just coughing, and we don't know what happens after that. Now we cut back down to the live stage, where we just have I'm just going to go over this scene really quick. It's just a scene with Hyo and the rest of the samurai, and Hyo is basically like, okay, everybody's kind of on the ground because the entire island is shifting so much, so they can't really stand up. Some of the other samurai are like steadying themselves with their swords. And, I mean, it is a moment because they're beginning to realize they're gonna die here. And Hyo basically says, like, look, we can either die here. Like, if Luffy were to defeat Kaido right now, the entire island's gonna fall and we're all going to die, like, immediately. Would you men rather prefer that? Or would, if Kaido wins, we live a little bit longer? And of course, the rest of the samurai are like, are you kidding? Well, if we die here, if Luffy defeats Kaido, at least the country will go back to normal. You know, I have a kid in Hakumai. You know, my wife is down in Ringo. You know what I mean? You know, if I die here, you know, whatever. At least the country is saved and it can go back to normal and that despot can be finally removed from power, right? So, at the end of the day, the samurai are all in agreement. They're like, hey, Luffy, you do what you gotta do. Because that was the whole reason, you know, Yamato wants to, you know, get the island away, because if it falls, everybody's gonna die. But the samurai are here basically saying, hey, Luffy, Straw Hat, you do what you gotta do, okay? If you defeating Kaido results in all of our deaths, we're willing to cash that check. We're willing to do that for the sake of our families that would be freed after this battle. So, you do what you gotta do, don't worry about us. And obviously Luffy cannot hear them, or maybe he can, because he has observation haki, who knows. We don't see Luffy responding to this, but all the samurai have kind of become resigned to their fate. Now we cut down to the basement levels where we see we see Kaido, who is actually Usopp this whole time. We see Usopp and Hamlet running through the hallways. This part of the castle is still on fire because the water hasn't quite reached it yet, but then the water hits them and it's like a rush of a torrent, and it's like, ah! So, yeah, I guess Usopp and Hamlet are gonna go surfing here. It's okay, though. Usopp is a surfing expert. Okay, so now we cut back to the treasure repository, though, and this area is actually still on fire, but the sea prism stone nail that was embedded inside of Orochi has actually now got knocked loose because of all of the shockwaves and the explosions and stuff. The nail has actually got knocked out of Orochi. I'm kind of calling bullshit a little bit on that, because I want you to imagine, has anybody out there actually stepped on a nail before? Or a thumbtack or anything? Probably a nail. I've never stepped on a nail, but I've stepped on like an actual thumbtack before it's gotten stuck in my foot or whatever. But I'm just saying, if you have a nail that's like all the way down into your arm or whatever, like wherever Hiyori stabbed Orochi, how would a shockwave knock that loose? It's just like, whatever, I don't know. Point is, the nail got knocked out of Orochi, so now he's free to use his devil fruit powers, and it actually looks really intimidating because he transforms into his Yamato no Orochi, but he's still bathed in fire. And so he has like this fire snake appearance. It's like, I will kill your daughter, Odin. I hope you're watching, you know? And so it's like, Demon Orochi. Kind of actually, honestly, the most intimidating Orochi has ever been in this entire story. Let's be straight up with that. Now, many people are like, damn it, again? How many times do you have to kill this guy? You know what I mean? Hey, honestly, I'm not really that upset, because one of my original theories was that everybody was going to get a turn to really mess up Orochi, right? So Kaido had a turn, he sliced his head off. The Scabbards had a turn, they sliced his heads off. Hiyori had a turn, we lit him on fire. Momonosuke still needs a turn, Zoro still needs a turn, Tenjiro still needs a turn, you know what I mean? So we can't kill Orochi yet, because we won't be able to have him suffer more. Do you not understand how this works? So he's lit on fire here. He's about to attack Hiyori. Either Denjiro's gonna show up at the last minute, or the water hits him and he drowns. And he's like, I can't use my power, you know, because it is seawater. It's the water that Raizo got from Zunisha's bath, so it is seawater. Doesn't matter if it was seawater anyway, but it's a crap ton of water and Orochi can't swim, right? So we'll see what happens next, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Don't worry. We're gonna see Orochi suffer some more throughout the rest of this arc. We're not done with it quite yet. Alright, so now we cut to the last scene of the chapter. Are you guys ready for this? No, you're not, but are you ready for this? Okay. So we now have a moment where Luffy is communing with Momonosuke and is communicating with him through observation or through the voice of all things or whatever. And he just basically says, hey, Momonosuke, I'm finishing this for good. Move the island out of the way, because I'm not pulling any punches here. And Momonosuke's like, what do you mean, Luffy? Oh! And you know, so Momo and Yamato both look up at the sky, and they see... God, I've used this meme so many times, but I have to use it again. There's no other moment that's more apt than this moment. Here comes a giant fist! But no, not just a giant fist, ladies and gentlemen. This is the premier fist. This is the Megaton Ultra Fist. This is the Digivolved Fist. You know, Champion, Ultimate, Mega. I don't know what's after Mega, because it's been a long time since I've watched any Digimon-related property, but there's probably a Digivolution higher than Mega. Gigantamax! You know, like, here we go. Luffy makes a giant fist that is bigger than the mountain of Onigashima. We see it to scale, okay? We see it to scale. We see this scene, you know, Onigashima's here, Luffy's fist is here, and this is to scale, and it's coming down. And I want you to keep in mind that that mountain on Onigashima, Muffin Mountain, the giant skull dome, that has Kaido's entire mansion inside of it, it has, like, every fight that's occurred in this arc, like, it's a mountain. It's a giant mountain that has a castle inside of it. Luffy's fist is bigger than that. It is bigger than a mountain. And I understand, look, we've been all fans of anime for a long time, I assume. Unless maybe you just got into anime like yesterday or something. I just got into anime yesterday. I'm gonna read One Piece chapter 1047. You know, I think that's a good place to start on my anime manga journey. But no, it's like we've been fans of anime and manga for a long time. So when a character slices a mountain in half, it's really not as like impressive as it would be in real life, because you see it all the time. But seriously, I want you to stop and think about how big a damn mountain is for a second. It's a mountain. All right, and I don't know how big Onigashima is. I kind of want that in an SBS or something. I don't think it's the size of like Mount Everest or anything, but like it's a mountain, okay? It's huge, all right? And so Luffy's fist is now bigger than a mountain, all right? I live in Appalachia. There's not like the Rocky Mountains around here. It's the Appalachian Mountains, but they're big mountains. There can be some sizable mountains. So I'm just driving around on a highway and there's mountains in the distance. I just want you to imagine if you're around mountains, just picture when next time you're driving on a highway and you see the mountains in the distance, I want you to picture a giant fist bigger than the mountains coming out of the sky and how intimidating that would be. So that's what Luffy's doing right now. His fist is coated in armament hockey, firing off Conqueror's lightning. And yeah, this might very well be Luffy's final attack. Kaido is in his dragon form, and he is kind of like staring down the fist just coming at him. And Kaido's like, it's hard to read Kaido's expressions while he's in dragon form, but I'm just like, I'm thinking Kaido's reaction is, giant fist, huh? Well, shit, how am I gonna dodge this? It's almost like Kaido knew what Luffy was gonna do next. Like, okay, I knocked him down, he came back up. He tried to hit me. I knocked him down, he came back up. All right, now he's probably gonna create a giant fist to try to punch me. Oh, that's bigger than I thought it would be. Yeah, okay. And Kaido's like, Boro breath times 10, you know, mega ultra Boro breath! Fires it. I don't know what he's gonna try to do, but whatever it is, we're gonna have to wait 2 more weeks to find out. Cause it's Golden Week in Japan. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Alright, so no, it's alright, it's okay. This was an epic chapter. This was unbelievably awesome, and I think, is this the moment where it ends? Because, you know, Luffy, it is funny because Oda did say at the beginning in an interview, he said, like, man, I need to figure out a way for Luffy to defeat Kaido without it resulting in just, like, punching him really hard. But it's Luffy. At the end of the day, no matter what ability he has, it's going to come down to him punching the enemy really hard in the face. It's just that, like, okay, we had Gear 3rd, which is a pretty big fist. Then we had the King Kong gun, which I believe was even bigger. And then if you saw the movie Stampede, he used the King Kong gun against Bullet. But now we have the Apex Fist, you know, like the Mountain Fist. So, I mean, it fits for Luffy's repertoire. For his arsenal, it works fine. We're just gonna have to see if after this attack lands, I mean, I'm sure he's covering so much area, it's going to hit Kaido, but also, it seems like it's about to strike Onigashima. Momonosuke has to work quick here. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know if, like, Yamato is just going to be like, screw it, we don't have time! And Yamato jumps off the island and just, like, kicks the island really hard and just, you know, does that or something. Because Kaido is no longer on the surface. Kaido is a dragon and he is floating. So it's like the roof of the Skull Dome, and then Kaido's here, and then here comes a giant fist, you know? So, you know, the island can just, like, scoot away, and then the fist could hit Kaido, and then, you know, all the way to the surface, and then he could be buried in the hole with Big Mom, right? Be a scene where Kaido gets knocked down, lands in the hole, lands right next to Big Mom, and just, oh God. Oh, hey, Lin, you still alive? And she's like, Mama, did you think this could kill me? Oh boy. Hey, maybe we should give up on the pirate game. What do you think? After you've been punched out by a giant rubber kid with a fist the size of a mountain, you just rethink your life a little bit. Hey, how about you and me climb out of this hole, move to the South Blue, and why don't we fulfill the dream that we always wanted? Mama, you mean start a bakery? No, not a bakery, start a movie theater. Damn it, you never listen to me. This is why we argue. And then that'll be the end of Kaido and Big Mom's story. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter review. This will be Zombie Tekking heading back to the grave. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Later, everyone.